Hi all, welcome back. More Fields of Fire. We're doing the Normandy campaign. This is mission 1, Trevieres offensive. This is my take 2, part 15. Moving on to turn 10. The last thing I forgot to do was move the game turn marker on. However, there's not a space for a 10, but not quite sure why that was. I suppose it's up there. The commands, I think the most you can go with commands is 9. Although you can, I recall, you can actually have more than 9 commands. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Pretty sure I had to look that one up at some point, playing it in the past. But obviously there's 10 turns, so why they didn't maybe have up to 10 there, I don't know. Anyway, so game turn 10, the last turn. We're okay. Yeah, I mean, we did find a couple of enemies here that are going to reduce our steps, I think. Have reduced our steps, and now we probably just want to try and bail out of there if we can for the last turn. We have our primary objective secure. We have our secondary objective secure. Now, yes, I need to watch attack point, because that gets me 3 points as well if I have that secure. But my intention is to move that COXO away, because we're trying to rescue casualties and to do other things, put a squad back together again. So I will have to hopefully just bring something down into that card just to secure that as well. But I'll work it out when we come to it. So yeah, I guess this could be the last part, because this is probably not going to be that long sequence in here, and then, well, you've got the finishing off in between the mission, how you deal with experience or whatever, and we'll go through that again. There's probably there's going to be a bit more involved this time to our first playthrough, because we have been shut up a bit more. A couple of things to talk about. Well, not really. There is actually one interesting one. I was watching back part 9. Yeah, it's rather sluggish and dreary and doom and gloom, to be honest. Part 9. It's when I don't draw very well from my commands, and it's late at night and I just look lost and don't know what I'm doing, really. We get through it in the end, and I think we eventually get a result, and that's when we take this guy out. And then I get up the next day and feel much better and get on with things, and part 10's, well, I've not watched it yet, but it felt much more, enjoyable experience for myself anyway, whether it's more an enjoyable experience for anybody viewing it or not. And it's in part 9 when I place this PDF marker, and I place it, the one that fires both ways, and that was wrong, and I later find that out. I want to say it's probably in part 10, and I get a bit confused to why that is. And it just should have been placed. It should have been placed that way. The Germans firing on us. I don't think anything comes of that. However, the initial opening fire from this card, we find out as we look back on things that we've done that wrong. That's when we had a little glitch in the video, so you don't really see me dealing with that. But I basically, what is it? How do I select the unit? I think I select it based on it's firing at us, and we moved on to this card, so we fire at it. But that's not how it should be. And I think it's how it's one of the things that seems like it's right, because they're firing on us, so we'll move on to that card and start firing on them. But I'm pretty sure that is wrong, and you should check the conditions for opening fire on a friendly unit, which is, I'm just trying to scroll back in the book here to find that, which is based on closest card, and then the next priority is card projecting the lowest VOF, random if equal. And at that time, this was producing heavy weapons. This was only producing automatic weapons. So we should have attacked that. Can't go back and fix that. So there's still been a lot of mistakes I'm not happy about. I know they're going to happen. I'm not going to play through this error free. And I've noticed as I've been playing that when making errors in this game, it's not very easy to fix them, as I think I've said already. You kind of like, yeah, it's difficult to fix them and put things back to as it should be, and you're drawing cards as well. So all the card sequence, I'm going past that. If I do find that I make a mistake and I can fix it by drawing a card that's out of sequence, I'm just going to do that. It's a random deck of cards. It's a random deck of 50 plus cards. So, if I can fix it that way, then at least I'm doing something in the way to fix it. But some of them, you just move on to the next turn, or not even that, and it's unfixable because you've already done other things. Okay, and the one interesting thing to talk about, and I've been thinking about this after I replied, Richard again came back, and he was saying that when we had a friendly and an enemy, I think it was on this card here, and they were firing at each other. I'm not so sure if there was fire coming from outside the card or not. But there can, I think there was actually. But you can have fire within the card, fire from outside the card. There's quite a lot of threads out there that it was confusing back in the day about which VOS you used, because you had fire going inside the card, fire outside the card. To be honest, I haven't really studied that, but I'm pretty sure they'll have tightened that up a little bit, because that was a bit vague and nobody really knew what was what. But that wasn't really what came up here. What the situation was, that the two units were firing on each other, and then the German unit backed off. Now, the only thing, why can I not? I had that up. What is it? 6.3 something? This is it here. Yeah, I was right at the page. So, and then what Richard said, and I picked him up wrong initially, was that the assault team, my initial thought was, because the German unit had moved back there, that the assault team would follow its fire. And obviously was going to reply, well, this is an assault team, it's point blank, it can only fire on a card, but he obviously was not meaning that. And then, if you look here, now this is kind of what happened, and it's the second paragraph here, 6.3.4, moving along the PDF. It's what happened, but because the assault team's got point blank range, it can't carry this out. However, this is what would happen. Let's just say it had short range, okay? If the last unit under a VOF from an opposing unit on the same card moves away to an adjacent card, at least I think that's how I'm reading that. This is the situation. If the last unit under a VOF from opposing unit, it's like, let's just say there was two units on that card and we're firing at them, and one of them moved away. Well, that wouldn't be the last unit, so we would continue to fire at the unit on the card. But if this was the last unit, which is more likely going to be the case, isn't it? That the opposing unit's fire follows the moving unit to the new card. Move the VOF to the new card and place a PDF marker. Any fire that was from outside the card remains on the original card. So I think most of that would have been what happened, apart from the fact that we can't follow with our fire and put a PDF towards that, where he moved to, and put a VOF, because we're only point blank range. There may well have been fire from outside the car still coming on that, and I understood I had to leave that. I was not an issue with that. But I didn't think at all about what Richard was meaning, and Richard was meaning that the assault team should continue to still fire on its own card. And I was like, right, okay, maybe I says, but I know for a fact it can't hit itself, because I think I quoted the rule. Yeah, I think we've been here before. Hang on. I can't find the rule, but the rule says that two units on the same card fire at each other with their obviously whatever their VOF is. So this would be automatic weapons on it, and I think it can back with small arms or whatever. It said, but it's not the VOF that creates is not counted to itself. It can't shoot at itself basically. And so I came back with that, saying that it's not really doing anything anyway, because it's firing on the card and it can't hit itself. Well, he came back with a valid reason for how that could still be, and basically going into the next turn, if we wanted to move US units onto that card, it's still going to have a VOF on it. We could infiltrate onto that card, so rather than become exposed, we can move onto the card not exposed. And I was like, right, okay. I was like, I still don't feel that comfortable about the fact that this unit is still firing on that card where there's nothing there. Now, I know that if it was firing on here, so let's just say it wasn't an assault team, it was a squad. If it was firing on here and there was nothing there, I know that would continue to fire. So you might say, well, what is the difference? And I've asked Richard if he can point me towards any rule to say that would continue fire. Well, hopefully I've worded it. Actually, when I made my reply, I might not have made that so clear, but that's what I'm asking. If there's anything to say in the rule book that this is, legit, that it would continue to fire on its own card. But I can't find anything, and the only thing you can find is basically saying that if this unit is firing on wherever it's firing, and then there becomes nothing there, it still continues firing until there's a ceasefire. So is that any different to that? And he's probably got a valid point. I just find this one a little more strange. So see if he comes back with that. And I don't know how keyed up he is on the rules and whatever. I mean, it's not that I'm not saying doesn't know what he's talking about or whatever, like. He might not be able to come back with a rule. He might just say that the rules are that they don't stop firing until they cease fire. I think that's what he initially said, which is kind of right. There's something feels wrong. I kind of thought this question, I tried to look in BGG, I thought maybe it might have been asked before, but I can't find anything. That's not to say it's not out there, it's just sometimes you need to search for the right words, because there's thousands of threads out there on this game, so thousands of comments. So trying to find the answer amongst it all. And of course, then you're finding an answer that might be from a bunch of guys that played the game, because, like I say, back in the day, the designer wasn't around much, and okay, that Ricky Gray developer was there for a good bit, and then I think he disappeared off the scene as well. And however, I could go and ask the question now. I'm pretty sure Andrew would come back and confirm it, but I'd rather give Richard maybe a bit more time to maybe come back and maybe explain that if it is in the rules, or if he just believes that it's there because what I've said, Okay, right, didn't need to go into that as much detail, Grant. But it's an interesting question, and I'm not saying he's wrong, I just find it strange. Going by the rules, I suppose you would say, well, he's right, so... but I'd like to get it cleared up, obviously. I just have that slight lingering doubt. Let's just say that if I'd thought about it myself, I would have been asking a question on BGG. That's what I'm saying. But because he's brought it up, I want to give him the benefit of maybe trying to follow up with an answer there before I'm maybe going to have to ask a question. I don't want to go over the top of somebody that's telling me a rule, and I don't know how confident he is with the ruling, but I just want to play it right. So if that's right, then good, so be it. Like he says, it probably benefits us, And well, the other thing is it's leaving. Well, I think that was part of my comment back in reply. The only thing that is benefiting is it could make the contact level higher than it really should be. That was another bit that I thought, that feels a bit odd, because if there's nothing else, if there's no other VOFs on the map, and this guy's got a VOF on his own card, he's firing it on his own card, then that means that there's contact, That you might say, well, that does mean that, Grant. What's the problem? Okay, right, let's move on to turn 10, we'll get this finished. Okay, it would have had an effect. If that's correct, it would have had some effect. It's not something that I feel too concerned about. It's not, well, there you go. It might have had an effect on contact, on the activity level at the time. I don't know. Just something bugging me about it, because we could just leave that guy firing there. Although we did create a gamey little situation up here where we were firing with small arms on, was it this card? just firing on small arms, just to create that sort of added activity level of contact rather than no contact, didn't we? So is that any different to that? Maybe, I don't know. Okay, right, turn 10. Let's get this wrapped up then. Right, so draw for friendly hire HQ event. Oh, we get one. Okay. Alright, let's have a look at that then. Alright, friendly hire HQ events. There is 10 of them. Well, actually, there's only 8 of them, isn't there, when I look at it? Just the last 3 are all the same. Well, the last 3 numbers. Right, so on a D10 anyway, it's still a D10 we're checking. It is a 5. Yeah. So a 5 is trouble on the flank. That's not good. Right. Now, I remember questions getting asked about this. I mean, as you read that, you see trouble on the flank, that's the name of the event, and you see what's involved. It says no forward movement allowed this turn. Okay. Now, I want to say that just before I go start searching for this, that I've got this feeling that what this means, although it's if you look at the actual wording, you would say, right, and this, if I find out this is the case, then this could be disastrous, that this COHQ cannot move forward onto this next row because there's no forward movement allowed this turn. That's reading that, you would say, yeah, that's what it means, and I'm going to go and look at it because that might well be what it means, but there's something in the back of my mind says that we cannot move any further forward from where we are, from where we are. I might have this wrong, but that's what's in my head. That's what I seem to remember. And again, remember, we were talking about maybe people posting threads and comments and whatever, and it's all sort of unofficial how the people are dealing with it. Look at the one that's just came up where the HQ events that are they optional or not. Well, Andrews came and confirmed that no, and it's going to be clear that they're not optional. Martin brought it up. It says you must do it. It's like, yeah, when I first read it, I must do it. The only reason I played it as optional is because of threads out there, old threads, that it's people that just have decided that it should be optional. There's not any authority there telling us. However, I've got to take Andrew's authority here. He's the one, and he's answering the questions, and he's maybe checking up. There's a couple of things. Well, that mistake in the thing, but it sounds like he knew about that. And then there's also that one about the NCM, which I think he's going to have a look into as well. So, anyway, well, let's find out if that is the case. Because if it is that we can't move anything forward at all, then yeah, well, our COHQ was part of this plan. He was going to go up and communicate with the first sergeant, give him a bunch of commands, hopefully, and going to do a lot. So I'm going to go and look to see what I can find on this first. My guess is that if this is a bit unclear, that they've tidied that up in the mission book, the wording on that. Well, just looking at it. Trouble on the flank. No forward movement allowed this turn. It seems clear that you wouldn't be able to move that forward, doesn't it? But just let me go and have a look. Right, okay, yeah, here's me saying that there was a bit of confusion about all the first thread that I come across. Not that there's probably an awful lot of threads out there, but I do seem to remember reading something, and it probably was a thread, and I think this answered my question, because it was a designer that actually replied, and that was quite rare. Of course, this was back in 2012, so maybe it was around more then. Right, that's a bit clear. See if I can put that. That's better, that. Yeah, the lights from above. Just to show this, I was just going to read it out, but anyway, the HQ event number 5, trouble on the flank, no forward movement allowed this turn. So Steve asked the question. And this is back in 2012, August of 2012. So going back a bit, but a lot of these threads do go back a bit. They go back longer than that. I think, I want to say, was the game released 2009 maybe? I've seen comments back from that far, but anyway, that's not relevant. I take it that this event means no movement further forward than I already am, and does not prohibit a forward move into a card that is already occupied by my units. So there you go. That's his assumption that we. Sorry, just jumping across to here to sort of say that we can't move any further forward than that. However, we could move from there to there with that. And okay, I'm trying to dig myself out a hole here because I want to be able to do that. But I'm just wanting to show you what the confusion is. I mean, if you read the actual event, it could get you thinking that's not allowed. No forward movement allowed this turn. So it's a bit vague if Steve is actually just assuming this, unless it's just me that doesn't think that no forward movement means no forward movement. And we'll get to that in a second. So, and then he says, so reinforcing a card in row 1 from the staging area would be okay. Now, admittedly, he's talking about moving on to cards that have got his units on them. So, like, they're secured, they're cleared, there's no enemies, there's no PC contact markers. There's none of that. So, so it's reasonably, it could be, what I'm trying to say here, it could be different than the follow-up question down below. And however, and there he is, Mr. Ben Hull, coming back to answer this question. Okay, phone call, as you heard, no doubt. I'm expecting maybe some more communication coming through. Okay, and as you can see, Ben Hull, the designer of the game, replies to the question with a simple yes. Thanks. That is it. So there you go. You might be surprised, thinking, right, okay, or you might not. You might read it the same way as what Steve did. I didn't initially. I thought I wasn't allowed to move anything forward. So there, it's been added to the Q&A, and then this is the follow-up question. Now you'll notice this is 5 years later, September of 2017, and William asks, let's say that I have 2 cards on. Now this does sound slightly different, but to me, not enough different to get the answer that it gets. The answer does not come from the designer's time, but the developer at the time, Ricky Gray. So he says, let's say that I have 2 cards on row 1 with units and 2 cards without. So, yeah, I mean, he's clearly meaning that there's row 1. In fact, we've got exactly that case. There's 1 unit there, 1 unit there. There's nothing on there, nothing on there. However, I think there's a bit more to it than that, because he talks about PC markers, doesn't he? Am I allowed to send units onto the cards that do not have units? So the empty spaces there. However, he says also those units have PC markers. Now, I'm not quite sure he's written that properly, because does he mean also those units have PC markers? I'm thinking he's meaning, is he allowed to send units on the cards that do not have units and they've got PC markers? So that could be different. That could be that you are moving forward, but not the way that was answered the question. There was no PC markers talked about. It just said, can you move up to the line that you're on? It's as if you're on a line. It's about protecting your trouble on the flank, isn't it? So it's like something, but I don't know. But the way that's worded, I'm not sure what he's meaning there. Also, those units have PC markers, if that matters. Is it that one cannot move onto a card that has a PC marker? So I think that's what he's meaning. I think he's meaning that, let's say there's a PC marker on that and there's a PC marker on that, and this is as far forward as we've got. And we've got a unit here and a unit here. If we have this Jeep here in the staging area, what he's asking is, can it move there? Because these are that far up to that line. Going by Ben Hull's answer, no forward movement this turn, would suggest that it's okay to do that. But if there was a PC marker in there and he was doing that, then you could sort of consider that being progression that you weren't allowed to do with that event in play. But I don't see that being that clear either. Right, damn, I just pressed stop. Right, so let's carry on with this. So Colin comes in, that's how I interpret that event. No new cards can be moved on into. So, well, that's not really, that would be a new card he was moving into if there's a PC marker, but he's not moving any further forward in the line, if you like. There's a similar event that is opposite, must move forward, that I've also played at least one new card ahead. I would have said no to that. You're advancing your front line. Again, the front line's up to that row. How are you advancing it? I don't know. So maybe I'm picking up this second part of the question wrong. But here's the bit that gets me. This is from Ricky Gray, and like I say, at the time he was a developer at the time. And then there's a question that William had asked, and Ricky comes back, no forward movement allowed at all, period. So this would not be legal. So I'm then confused. That sounds to me like the designer said yes, and the developer 5 years later has said no. Although the questions are slightly different, to me they still appear to be the same thing. Unless the big part there is the PC markers, unless it's something that says that is, you know, you're exploring a new card. So I can maybe see that. But I think it's kind of vague. And the event, written as it is, does not sort of help you out there. So I've went and popped a question out there on BGG, trying to explain that and see if we can get in back, just clarifying that how that should be dealt with. I do feel comfortable-ish about being able to move my HQ onto a card that's got our other units, and even moving these units onto here, or even here if I wanted to, because we've got units in all these cards, so I feel like it's okay to be able to move onto there. Now, if there was another card up here, we would not be able to move forward, you know, but that's our limit anyway, limit of advance there, so we can't do that. Yeah, so it's a funny one, that, isn't it? It's like, again, it's one, and then the events aren't. I'm guessing the guys have got the events written down a bit more clearer, so there's no. But I mean, like I've already said, that seemed clear to me when I first read it. Right, another phone call. I'm expecting more disruption, to be honest. I can't remember where I was at, what I was saying. I think I was just saying when I very first read that event that I would not be able to move this assault team up to there because that was moving forward. But then when I read the thread that's maybe not classed as moving forward, that would be classed as moving forward if there's another card up there with nothing on it. Okay, let's stop, Grant, because you've gone over that enough. Well, I popped the question out there, so yeah, I get the feeling I'm not going to get far with this part of the playthrough anyway. I'm going to have to pause and whatever. But we'll carry on, and the only thing is, well, I kind of do need to know if it's allowed for my COHQ to move, because he's the first thing that's going to do anything. Yeah, okay, right. Well, let's draw. The BNHQ is not on the map. We've done the event. Let's see what the COHQ is going to get. Now, he saved one command, so that's good. He's not under cover. Now, our contact level, our current activity level, is engaged. So he's going to get a -1 because he's green. And, yeah, -1 to the big number. Okay, good stuff. 5. 5 minus 1 is 4, gives him 5 in total. Well, that's a good start. That's the sort of number we want for the first sergeant, I think. Well, okay. So I think I'm just going to have to move on with this and do this as I feel. And my feeling, belief is that I can move this up to there. Like I say, if I was back just first playing the game, I would say, oh, I can't move that forward. It says no movement forward. But after reading the thread, it looks like the designer replied to it. But then again, what Ricky Gray, what he said, no forward movement, period. Is that not forward movement? See, it's got me doubting that now, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to wait on the reply now. Right, well, what can he do from there? He can activate the EXO. He cannot activate the first sergeant, because the plan is that he was going to move up to here, then activate the first sergeant. And he can also then activate the 3rd platoon HQ. And the 2nd platoon HQ. So we could do 1, activate that, move to that, that's 2 commands. Activate that, that's 3. Activate that, that's 4. And activate that, that's 5. I don't really know that I need to activate 3rd. And even 2nd for that matter, to be honest. I really just feel it's the EXO and the 1st sergeant I'd like to activate. Right, well, I can communicate with the EXO. He's not undercover. He's got a radio and he's in line of sight. So I'm going to use 1 command to activate the EXO. He's got no save commands, so we're hoping for a bit of a number there. But I mean, all he's really wanting to do, but he could help in putting this team back together, is move this casualty into here. Oh yeah, that's... Oh no. We realise that the CO staff can create the casualty collection point too. It doesn't have to be the COHQ. That's right, I realised that last night, because I thought I was going to have to move him into here, then I wouldn't be able to activate the 1st sergeant. So, well, yeah, now you need to know if you can move this. Because if you can't, then, well, you can't. To be honest, if I can't do anything else, can I? I just, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I do need to wait on this answer. Well, maybe I could do a little pause just now anyway, and I want to see how much... I don't know what that first part is. Again, I stopped the video, so I don't know. I think I was probably 20 odd minutes in, and that's another 7 minutes now, so my guess is we're maybe 30 minutes in. So it looks like this, the way it's going, there's going to be another part to come after this, I think. Right, I'll go and pause just now and we'll see what we can find, okay? Cheers. Right, hi all. Right, yeah, this is just a continuation. We're 30, I was checking we've got about 32 minutes up to now, I think. Right, I need to keep that in mind because I've started again here. Okay, got a reply from Andrew, as usual, very quick response, saying that I shouldn't be quoting the designer. He doesn't like it. Okay, just kind of saying what he's saying, try to let people know and understand the rules, but I don't know what's meant by that, but fair enough. It was only a yes, a confirmative, so but yeah, that is he puts it that you're no further movement allowed beyond your furthest unit. So I would kind of suggest that if there was a PC marker in here and we hadn't explored this card yet, but we had units there, that you would be allowed to move to there, I think. No further forward move than your furthest forward unit. I mean, unless it means on this actual card. I still think that's a bit of a grey area, you know, because these are as far forward. You know, if you're looking at, when you mean forward, if you mean that line of cards, that's how I would read it. Well, again, initially I would read it that you could move from here to here, but I know, I've harped on about that enough. But if you're meaning the furthest forward unit on the actual card that you're wanting to move on to, it might mean that. Well, let's see what they come out with in the mission book about how they word it. But Andrew has confirmed that we can basically move that. So let's go on with that. Let's forget about the rest of that. Okay, well, we've given one command to activate EXO. We're going to now move our HQ. That's going to cost me another command. So I've got 3 left. and he's going to be marked exposed. We're definitely going to activate the first sergeant. So that's another command taking me down to 2. I've got 2 left. This is the last turn, so yeah, I mean, there's no point trying to save commands, Grant. That's true. So can't we order that assault team forward into there? Because that was the plan, and then the first sergeant's going to follow along. He's going to hopefully create the casualty collection point in here. The XO is going to come in there. We're going to put the team, the squad back together. Everything's going to be perfect. Yeah. Yeah, because he's got a casualty as well. He's canning a casualty, and he's canning a casualty. They're both going to meet up there. Then we're going to have 1, 2... Oh yeah, we're going to try and put that paralysed team to an assault team. That's going to require some commands as well. So that might not happen. We might not succeed with that one, but we can but try. Yeah, and then up here we've got I think that's a paralysed unit. Yeah, we can't really do anything about that guy, can we? Well, yeah. The problem with that is, although this is I think we reduced this to a litter team, didn't we? So it's kind of finished. Well, not finished. It could rally itself. Well, we've only got 1 turn, so the best it's going to be able to do, I think, is rally from a litter team to a fire team. Well, that would be good enough to then fire on this card, wouldn't it? So there is that. The problem, I need to... Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be able to move that. What did we say that was? A paralysed team. Because this has got no target now. This incoming came in here, and this is now a casualty, isn't it? I know I've got that covered up, the cover marker, but I realised there was issues with casualties being undercover or not. I think they still need to be placed in that way for rescuing purposes, picking them up, etc. Yeah, and here's the other thing. We've got mines on this card. We do not want to go on that card. This is going to have a pending fire mission on this, so this is probably going to attack this again. So I think we just leave that. That's a casualty. Yeah, we can't bring that back either. And I don't think there's anything else we can really do. We could activate 2nd platoon and 3rd platoon still. Right, okay, more interruptions and more staring at the board and not knowing where I was at. That's the problem with that. Yeah, I think I was talking about the situation up here and we can't really do much about it. Yeah, I think the biggest worry at first, this was a heavy machine gun unit. No, it wasn't. It had a tripod, and we worked out if it wiped out this unit, it would then probably fire on this, because it can see this. However, that didn't happen. Well, not only that, we got that down to a litter team. This managed to hang on to a paralysed team, is that? This is going to call for fire on this now, though, isn't it? Because it can't see shoot at this. It can't see anywhere else. It's going to call for fire on that. Not enough of what we can do about that. Just need to hope for the best. So I don't really think there's any point in... Well, hang on. Well, is there any point in us trying to take a casualty here? Well, I'll tell you what, there could be, because if the rule, and again, this hasn't been clarified to me, I have spoke about it quite a few times, and it's the word that enemy casualties on unoccupied and friendly occupied cards are captured. So if this was a casualty, and that was on an unoccupied card, obviously, then it would gain us an experience point. So I suppose you could sort of say that we could go for the artillery forward observer as well, but if we move stuff onto here to go for that, he's going to call firing on us. We're as well like leaving this guy to be the fodder, I'm afraid. And we're firing with, well, what we could do. How much ammo have we got left on the the 50 cal? If we've got 2 points left, we have got. I'm looking on the wrong side. We've got 2 points left. So what we could do is we could concentrate fire on that with a 50 cal machine gun, just in the hope of getting a hit and maybe getting a casualty out of it. He's undercover. So the COXO would have to go move under the cover marker now, which he could do, and then give an order to concentrate fire. Yeah, but he could also move this. I'll just try to use up his points, I suppose. What's more important? I think it's more important to save the commands here to try and put this together. Yeah, I think so. That means I'm going to have one command left over, to save that's not going to be of any use, I don't think. Yeah, if I'd had one more point. So, yeah, I've got two commands left, so I'm going to order this assault team into the marsh here. So we're not going to bother with cover. I'm not going to mess about with that. So he's bringing that across here, and then he's dropping this off here, because we're hoping this is going to be a casualty collection point. And he's marked exposed. So that's us got 2 assault teams waiting. So we can put the squad together as a 2-step squad. Well, we can attempt it. And if we can put enough into this paralysed team to get it up to an assault. Well, no, it only needs to be a fire team. Then we've got 2 line steps and 1 green step. So that would work. So that was one more step command. So the COHQ, he does have only 1 command left. Well, wait, are you not better activating somebody? Well, no, that doesn't work. Well, yeah, activate 2nd Platoon HQ, and then can he not go under there and... No, he's not... He can't give that an order, can he? That's attached to the... that's attached to the 1st Sergeant, 50 cal. Yeah, so I don't think the Platoon HQ can give that an order. Well, actually you could call fire in. Yeah, let's use the last point to activate 2nd Platoon HQ. And that's him done. That's him used all his points. So activate 2nd Platoon HQ. So we have two HQs that have not been activated. And I'll put a blue cube on them. That's 1st Platoon HQ. Sorry, 1st Platoon and 3rd Platoon. And 2nd Platoon was a valid sort of activation, yes. Yeah, we're on the same card as it. And there's no issues, not undercover or anything like that. Okay, good. Right, out of the 3, which is... I don't think I have to activate the platoons first, do I? Yeah, no, the word in there, I think, makes that one quite clear. So this is in the activation segment, and 3.1c, Platoon HQ/CO staff impulse. Select a Platoon HQ or a CO staff that was activated by the CO HQ and draw an action card. So we can do them in any order we like, and that could be relevant to... Sorry, I've got my... I had plugged the phone in. I better leave it as running out of charge a little. Well, what's the important bit to do is probably the 1st Sergeant on the COXO. I don't think it matters in what order we do these, actually. Well, the XO's got 0 commands saved. The 1st Sergeant's got 2. we should probably see what the first sergeant can do first, because he's probably the one that's going to create the casualty collection point. So yeah, let's do the first sergeant first. So he's got 2 saved, and we're going to activate him. Now he's veteran, remember, so he's going to get to draw a +1. He's not undercover. The contact's engaged, but he gets a +1. He's not green, he's veteran, he gets a +1. So a +1 to the big number. We want it big. I'll do. Could have been worse. So 3 + 1 is 4, so he's got 6. Well, in fact, you know what? He can only spend 6, so that's perfect. He wouldn't be able to spend any more of that anyway, so he's got the 6 that he needs. Well, it's possible we might want more than 6, but that we can only spend 6. So first things first, what is he going to do? That's a COHQ. Yeah, he's not going to do anything on that card. He's going to get across here first. So he moves across here, and that costs 1 down to 5. He's exposed. So yeah, see, I'm starting to think maybe I should have done the XO first. Well, what is it? Paralysed to... It's paralysed to water team, isn't it? Yeah, so paralysed to water team to fire team. Rally actions. Paralysed to water team, it would be automatic. Cost me 1, and we've got to confirm that any HQ or staff can do it. And then water team to fire team. So we need 2 commands to put that in a position where we then want to attempt to put the squad back together. So that would mean, because I just want to have an exhort possibility. Here's the other thing, the XO's across there. If we do happen to fail it, he could maybe do it in general initiative. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Well, hopefully we won't need that. So can we place the casualty collection point? That would be 1. Then that to a water team would be 2. That to a fire team would be 3. You would have 2 commands left. 1 to put the squad together and 1 to exhort. That's perfect, isn't it? I think that's perfect. So I'm going to spend... Right, well, I'm going to reserve the right to just alter this if I find I'm getting it wrong. So I'm going to spend 1. I'm down to 4. And we're going to have a casualty collection point on this card. Now, he can do that. Well, let's go and just have a look at that one. Yeah, so it's this one down the bottom. It's a command and control action. Designate a new tactical control. It's 1, it's auto. The originator can be COHQ or CO staff. And when we read that last night, we were like, yes, okay, that's good. The recipient is the HQ itself. What? Right, okay. I wish that said the HQ or CO staff. They place a new tactical control measure on the same card as the HQ that expends the command. Yeah, I mean, I'm just a little confused by that. Because, I mean, CO staff aren't... Well, they don't have the word in HQ, but I'm maybe just being picky there. C 5.1.7 for casualty collection point. Let's have a look at that rule then. Well, that's 5.1.7. This is evacuating casualties. A casualty collection point or medevac landing zone can usually be designated before a mission begins or during the mission with a designate new tactical control command, which is 4.21. We've just been there. They can be switched during the mission, but only 1 can be in play at a time. Once a casualty has been transported and dropped off at these points, that casualty is considered to be evacuated by an ambulance or a helicopter. Remove the casualty in the clean-up phase. Yeah, that's not really... I want to just say that place any evacuated casualty in the appropriate holding box on command display for ease of calculating experience points earned and number of wounded returned to duty for the next mission. yeah, I guess I just want to say, it just, when I read that, it just kind of threw me a little, the HQ itself. But this, although it speaks HQ again, place a new tactical control measure on the same card as the HQ that expends the command. Well, it's the CO First Sergeant. It's the First Sergeant that's expending the command, so I'm guessing he's the HQ. Hopefully that's right. Well, yeah, I mean, it says, yeah, I just think the wording's slightly confusing there, maybe. Don't know if you think that as well, Andrew, or you're okay with that. Might just be me. And of course, that is assuming I am right and the First Sergeant can do it, but it seemed like to me he could. So he spent his one command to do that. Do we think that's okay? So he's got 4 left. So 1 is going to be to, well, do I need to go back and look? Well, let's have a quick look. So yeah, just quickly, we're going to attempt to convert a paralysed team to a litter team. It's going to be automatic because there's no VOF. Again, this should say any HQ staff, so we're getting the First Sergeant to do it. So we're going to do it to a litter team. Then we're going to do another command to convert the litter team to a fire team, which is one command as well, and it's automatic because no VOF, and that does, well, all of these are any HQ staff. These 2 are going to be a rad. So, and then we'll be up to a fire team. So, but that is going to cost us 2 more commands, okay? And the 2 commands, first that turns into a litter team. And then we carry out another rally action to turn it from a litter team to a fire team. Okay, so now we've got 2 assault teams and a fire team. So if we can put that squad back together, it will come back in as a 3-step unit, and it will also be a line because 2 of the steps are line, 1's green. Okay, good. So he's got 2 commands left. Yeah, and we're going to attempt that now. So that is attempt to reconstitute a squad. It costs 1. Now this isn't automatic, so we're going to draw 2 plus or minus. However, First Sergeant's veteran, so it's going to be a +1. So we're going to draw 3 cards. Any HQ staff. 2 to 4 unpinned assault or fire teams. We've got 3 teams, 2 of which are assault, 1 is fire. And then draw action cards, check for rally icon. If the icon is present, the attempt succeeds. Remove the 2 to 4 teams and replace them with a squad with an equal number of steps that's previously been removed from play. If the attempt fails, do nothing. And it refers to 6.52, which will tell us, and I'm glad I went and looked there at first, because well, I might have had to look there and realise what quality does it come back in experience-wise, you know. But that tells us that 2 line teams and a green team would bring it back in as a line. As for completeness, there it's there, 6.5.2. You may reconstitute a squad which has been removed from play. Any 2, 3 or 4 fire or assault teams may be given an attempt to reconstitute. Draw action cards. Replace. Yeah, that's just what I've read. The experience level of the reconstituted unit, however, is based on the experience level of the lats used for reconstitution. Line for assault teams, green for all others. And the average experience levels calculation chart and the charts and table player aid also 12.6. And that'll tell us, without going back to there, that you keep doing that and then you want to go and see reference the rule. So there is 12.6 there is the table. And for a 3-step unit, we've got a line, and any. So we've got a line, and green, then the result is line. Okay, good stuff. Right, so we're going to spend that action. We have 1 action left, so just to give us one last card draw, because we could exhort this if we happen to fail, because it's kind of important to have went to all this bother and not be able to put it back together. So normally we've drawn 2 cards, however the First Sergeant is carrying this out, so he's veteran, so we get to draw 3 cards. And like I say, he's got that backup 1 more card for an exhort if we need it. Let's hope we don't, to sort of make that a bit too tense to finish. Right, so 3 cards. We need in rally. That's a no. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good stuff. So we don't need to exhort that. We do rally that reconstitute action. So that comes away, and that comes away. and we get this back. Yeah, one of the squads was exposed. Should he come back unexposed? Not sure, guys. There's a wee question left there for you. Don't know. I'll just put him under it because that's a worst case, but it's not going to have an effect, so that's the good thing. And First Sergeant's got one command left, but he's exposed. He can move under the foxholes, I suppose. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. So he's going to save his last command. So now the XO, yeah, we're as well doing him next. He's got no save commands. We have him activated though, so it's not just a initiative draw. He's not undercover, so he's getting a -1 to this. Gets a 3, so he gets 2 for that. That should be fine. Got 2 commands. Yeah, I mean, I think he only needs a 1. He's just going to move across here. So he's going to move across with his casualty, and going to end up on this card exposed as well. And we'll just put the casualty there. So that's two points there we've got. And I'd like to think we're putting that squad together. That's probably saved us some stuff as well. Because I think possibly that squad might have had to come back as a green squad. I don't know. It might have been feasible to put it back together again, but we had the space to do it. So that was one action for the XO. He's got 1 left. I don't think he needs it. No, so he's just going to save that too. Right, we've got 2nd Platoon HQ to activate as well. Well, which has been activated. He's not undercover. He's green. It's a -1. He gets a 3 -1, so that's a 2 as well. Yeah, none saved. He's got 2 commands. What was I going? Yeah, I was maybe going to call fire, was I? You know what you should be trying to do? Throwing grenades. No, I've nowhere I can do that. Well, no. Well, this has got close range anyway. But I can't fire over the top of that. I was going to say that bazooka could have attempted a grenade attack. We've got 1 grenade attack success anyway. Well, I think we have. Again, you might want to look that one up, Grant, because it was a successful grenade throw-in, but then the unit moved away. I still think that's a success, and I'm pretty sure there's somebody asked that question out there, and I should be able to find it. So maybe I'll do that. We're at 24 minutes. We had 35. We could probably be doing my closing things off here and leaving the last part just to finish things off. So, right, 2nd Platoon HQ. We've drawn the card. Do we want to call fire? Do we really want to be bothered with that? I suppose it's a slightly better chance of getting hit, but it's just an awful lot of... I don't really need to do it, you know. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it. We would have a -5 coming in on that rather than the -3 that we've got. So it might stand a better chance of a hit and maybe turn it into a casual. But we could hit and it could turn into a fire team, maybe, you know. So there's no guarantees you're going to get a casualty yet. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it. Just going to save the last 2 commands. And then we've got 1st and 3rd Platoon. So 1st Platoon with initiative is going to draw. He's undercover. So it's a +1 and he's green. +1 -1. So no modifications, but it's a small number he's going to get. So it is a 2 he's going to get, but I'm not going to do anything with him either. So he's going to have saved the 2. He ends up with 3. Don't really feel like I need to do it. Oh, stop. I want the 3 commands. Almost. Right, we've got 3 commands. The 1st Platoon. Well, guess third platoon would be able to do it as well, wouldn't they? And he's got 2 commands saved. Yeah, because I need somebody back here. Our attack position is not secure because yeah, and there's no other steps we can put together. These are the only other step is missing is a paralysed team across here, but we can't get to that. So I'm just going to take 3-1 platoon there that's reduced and just move him back into here. Mark him exposed, and that is now us back secure with this card so that we get the 3 points for securing the attack position. That costs 1 action. We'll just save the other 2 now comfortably. Right, and then 3rd platoon HQ again draws under initiative. He is getting a -1 because he's not undercover. So he gets a 1, but I'm just going to save that as well, I think. Just a quick look. Yeah, I don't need to do anything else, so yeah, I'm just going to leave that. So there we go. So that's all our sorry. That's all our initiative segments apart from the general initiative. So well, we'll draw for it, see what we get. Unmodified, that's a 4. Well, we do not need that. So we've got 4 commands. The only thing I suppose I was looking at was this. Can he? No, he needs somebody to rally up. He can rally himself from pinned. So he could get out of pin status, but then he's a paralysed team, so he then needs to... Oh, wait a minute. He will get to retreat, will he not? Yeah. So if we can rally him to a paralysed team that's unpinned but has a VOF on the card, remember that counts as a VOF, then does that not allow me to retreat him in the retreat segment? Yeah, so just looking there in the retreat segment, I mean, admittedly the enemy activity happens first, but that shouldn't have an effect. So this happens before the actual combat. I think if he tries to rally on that card, do the mines not go off again? I'm not sure. So it says retreat any unpinned paralysed team under a VOF marker 1 card. Priority is no VOF, then best net NCM. Yeah, okay, that's where he can move to. And then random if equal. And mark it exposed. So, yeah, my worry is, and I don't know if this is right, but if we go and try and rally that from pinned, will it trigger the mines? I want to say no, because I feel like if I was to move undercover, yes, but I don't think it would. Me just trying a rally action. Let's see if I can find anything about mines. I want to say it's maybe going to be in rule 7 somewhere, maybe. Yeah. Where are we? Nah, I do remember. Wait, it's not in there either, I don't think. Hang on. Yeah, it is there actually. I don't think it was. So this is under rule 7.9.1 mines. It says there, mine checks must continue to be made whenever a new unit enters or moves within the card, even after being triggered. Place all newly hit units under the mine marker. However, there is a bit that tells you that it doesn't trigger if you move off the card. Although that's not what we're doing either, but I just wonder if that might have some more information. I'm going to say this is fine. I can't find the bit that does say that it doesn't affect the unit moving off the card. I can't find where that is written, but I definitely read that. It's obviously in some other section, but we're not trying to do that either. At the moment we're not. Well, if you can move off the card in the retreat segment, then so be it. So he could attempt to remove his pin marker. The problem with this is if he No, yeah, that's fine. And then he's going to move back, and he'll either move into here or here. I think that'll be a random choice, because it did say no VOF, then, which they both got no VOF. Yeah. So, right. It's kind of tricky to get the pin marker off though. So here's pinned. Rally actions allowed. Attempt to remove a pin marker. So 4.2.3 is allowed. And it's the one up the top. Attempt to remove a pin costs 1. 2 plus or minus. It's all with no VOF. When we know there's a VOF. However, it's only going to be a 1-card draw because he's a paralysed team, which is considered green. And then this would be normally, but we're doing this in general initiative, and there's nothing there saying it has to be an HQ or staff. Yeah, and we can't exhort this because that is one that needs to be an HQ or staff. So yeah, it's just basically a 1-card draw for this. So we're going to spend one of the 4 initiative commands to attempt this. So we're just going to draw 1 card, and if it has the word rally, it does not. Okay, so he doesn't get to rally. Pin marker stays on. And yeah, I think we're pretty much done. I don't think. Well, we could do that concentrated fire now with a heavy machine gun using his initiative. So let's try that. Now, yeah, okay. Because he's a tripod machine gun, where am I going to find that? He gets to draw 1 extra card when concentrating fire. Let me try and find it. So machine guns, page 51 and 7.2.1, tripod mounted machine guns. An arrow symbol over the VOF rating indicates the machine gun is on a heavy tripod. That's tripod mount. That's what we've got. Tripod mounted machine guns benefit from a more steady aiming base and sustained fire capability, and are often of larger caliber. They usually produce non-automatic weapons, VOF, though some produce heavy weapons, which is what we've got. Following additional rules apply. Right, we're not concerned with grazing fire and overhead fire at the moment. Well, in actual fact, that is what we're doing. Yeah, that's the reason he's been able to fire, because he's firing overhead friendly units. So that's fine. And then there you go. Draw. Oops, let me just see that. Draw 1 extra card when making an attempt to concentrate fire with tripod mounted machine gun. Not fire if they're exposed. Okay, so we're going to draw 1 extra card for that. So attempt to concentrate fire costs 1. 2-card draw, but we're getting to draw the extra 1 because of the tripod. That's all good. Draw action cards. Select either a stack of units under a cover marker or 1 random unit. Well, it's just 1. I think he's undercover, but there's no more than 1 unit on the thing. Draw action cards, check for the crosshairs icon. So we're going to draw 3 cards. The icon is present, the attempt succeeds, place a concentrated fire marker on the target. If the unit tracks ammo, it expends 2 instead of 1 ammo point. If the attempt fails, do nothing. So it is going to spend its last 2 points of ammo. Right, it was on pause again there a little bit. Right, so we're going to do this. We're going to spend one of these general initiatives for our tripod 50 cal machine gun that is firing overhead fire into the Orchard Grove up there onto this pinned unit, which I think is undercover as well. So we're going to draw 3 cards because he's tripod mounted, and see if we can get the crosshairs. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. No. Yes. Oh, right. Yes. Right, well, I think that's a critical one. So if you draw 2, I'm going to have to look this one up. Right, not finding this initially. I know it works with grenades. Let's just see. There's concentrated fire there. Result of the successful concentrated fire. Unit can be the target of multiple concentrated fires. Right, that doesn't. I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm pretty sure we get something out of this. Or something extra, I mean. Right, I searched for critical hit and I got a result. So page 55 and 56. So we're in here. Well, 55 is about the grenade attack critical hit. No, that's not what we're doing, but it says if 2 or more cards with grenade icons are drawn, a critical hit occurs with the following results. Target loses the benefit of cover markers, and then if it's not under cover, you get 2 grenade VOF markers. So without reading heavily into it, because obviously that's not what we're doing right now, here's the one that we're interested in. So I guess it might be something similar. Sorry. Concentrate fire, critical hit. Yeah, there it tells you. Yeah. Right, okay. That's where we should have been reading about it anyway. But here's the critical hit. If 2 or more cards with crosshair icons are drawn, which is what we got, a critical hit occurs with the following results. Target loses the benefit of cover. Looks like it is the same, Including field fortifications and buildings when calculating the NCM during combat effects. Place a critical hit concentrated fire marker as a reminder. Oh. Well, I don't know if I've got any of them. Is that a new thing? That sounds like a new thing. It might be that we have one, but it sounds like it might be a new thing. Because it would be a better reminder for you. And then if the target unit is not under cover, 2 concentrated fire markers are placed on it, and both are counted in the NCM calculation. A critical hit marker can also be used to reduce counter clutter. Okay. Well, I don't have any critical hit concentrated fire markers. Well, not that I can see, and I think that might be something that's new. So I'm going to put it here, and hopefully we'll remember that we're going to ignore, because he's in +1 foxhole, so we ignore the +1 for that because it was a critical hit. Okay, and we can take these cards away, and we've got 2 general initiative commands left, but I mean that is spent the last 2 points as ammo, so you can't do it again. Nobody else can do it. Yeah, I mean we could have done artillery. I think we'll just leave it. I don't think there's anything else we can do. We can't. Could we spot that guy? No, we can't even spot that guy. With nobody in line of sight that can spot, and it wouldn't do us any good anyway. I don't think the paralysed team will be allowed to spot. Yeah, okay, we're gonna leave it at that. And right, so I'm gonna cut this part now because that's getting on a bit now. I think we're in an hour and a half territory, closing in on it. So I'll keep the next section hopefully for the last part, so I'll be starting with the enemy higher HQ event. Well, I think if we got a counter attack, obviously it could get messy, but I don't think it's going to stop us from completing the mission. So, and then we'll finish that off reasonably quickly. There's not an awful lot to do, and then hopefully the second half of that part I can just go through the process of getting our experience tallied up, etc. And yeah, okay. Right, I'll be back soon. Cheers.